10 years to push them back, but we did. What was once a prosperous river trade, the Mississippi, is now the front line. The eastern states supply the river states, and what's left of the UA live out their meager days self-policing. What is the West hiding? Nobody really knows for sure. But we're alive. And this is the new frontier.
Hello everyone and welcome back to We're Alive. We are back in Osage, or, depending on who you've talked to at this point, the newly reclaimed Jennisburg. When we last left you, I believe you were sitting inside of the Govman's private stall. Now, as we determined earlier, Osage Villa is the most densely populated building inside of the governorship of Old Jefferson, which is part of Osage. He has his own private trading establishment, and you all beeline straight for his place to find him sitting over the cot of a woman with the sheet pulled up to her neck and blood. You can see he's kind of leaning over this person, Govman, and we last left you with him looking up to you, Chato. You fucked up, Chato. You fucked up hard. Where the hell have you been? I'm happy that you're back and all. And I appreciate that you're coming to visit now. But what the fuck, man?
This is my fault.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
I'm Jenny. And for the past 2 days, Chato has been recovering. He was unconscious. So he is not to blame for what has happened for the past 2 days.
I have 27 dead citizens inside of the villa. The city is so divided at this point. These were people who openly wore the sigil of Kamon, and they decided when they heard that Kamon was dead, they flipped their shit, and they just started taking out people all inside of the city. This woman had a boy. I don't know where that boy is. He left. He took one look at his mom, and he bolted out through that back door. I have a whole bunch of other separated families right now. Everything is screwed right now, Chato. And then a messenger runs in from Summerfield this morning with this, and he pulls out a faded piece of paper that is pulped, pulped and pressed paper, and he slams it on a table right in front and pushes it right towards you.
I read it out loud, so.
Dear citizens of Osage, it has come to our recent attention that the exiled Chato has returned to the city and has reclaimed the land in the name of outsiders. Presently, we are taking direct action to find the fugitives and bring them to justice. Should any citizen of Osage find the traitor Chato and his gang of outsiders, they will be handsomely rewarded as part of the legacy of Kamon. And you see it's been signed Kalarm, Legatus Kalarm. What should I do?
Do you want to go back to the way things were when Kamon was in charge?
No. Kamon was an asshole.
Then your choice is clear.
Wait a minute, who are you?
Wraith.
Wraith. Okay.
These visitors. I know we didn't always agree on things, my friend, but they are the instruments of Great Spirit. Or perhaps they're generals in the army, or perhaps they're whatever you need to believe they are, but they help deliver victory, and they will help deliver victory again. Because when we leave this place, we will go to Summerfield. We will visit Kalarm.
I'm not seeing a lot of victories right now, Chato. I'm seeing a lot of death.
And then we will remove ourselves from here. We're looking for a man who lived here. I believe his name was Doc. We think we know his quarters. Do you know this person?
Yeah, Doc. It's one of the Heisenberg guys.
Yes. He has something of tremendous value to the water supply. We have to find him.
Did you go over to Heisenberg already?
We were trying to get the water flowing for you and the people.
I see.
As you can see, we all need it.
Right. Well,
You are not friends with those of Heisenberg?
no. Heisenberg are fair traders when they're not finding reasons to mark up their prices. Just...
Is that really what you're worrying about right now?
No, I'm more just stunned. Really.
You all, if I could have a moment with the GovMan, perhaps you can go investigate that while he and I speak in private.
After Chato says that, I'm going to walk over. Ken walks over to the sheet and kind of lifts it up and looks under it while everyone's talking. And he recognizes that it was, in fact, the same woman who he saw earlier
Right.
get murdered. And he kind of looks over at Wraith and he pulls the curtain back further and he just stares at him. And he kind of just throws it back over and walks out.
Do you want to go over, Chato? Assuming now that these three have
We're gone.
gone
Yeah.
outside of the privacy of his small office. We got complacent. We've been gone for 2 years, and a lot can happen in 2 years. I've been so used to just being picked off one by one like plucking feathers from a chicken. And we didn't notice when we were starting to get stripped bare. When you were exiled, there was a quelling. People were upset. They did try to speak up and make change and do something to bring you back. And all those people were killed. Asking them to do that again when there wasn't a great victory that you're speaking about, it's just going to take a lot of convincing, Chato. I think they want it, though. I think they do.
I'm not asking them to fight for me. I'm not asking you to fight for me. I'm asking them to fight for themselves, because this is our last best chance for some peace and sanity in this world.
Yeah. For Osage.
For Jenningsburg.
Really? Gettysburg?
It'll make sense, believe me.
All right. We'll make it work. Let me see what I can do. People are starting to populate the streets again. So just be careful.
I sling the crossbow and I pick up the hammer again, and I say, I understand the need for subtlety, but I cannot be seen being afraid.
That's on you, Chato. You've never been one to be subtle. I prefer my enterprise in keeping this place as safe as I can.
I just stand up and I just sort of clap him on the shoulder, and I say, better days lay ahead, my friend. We just have to make it a little further.
Life's not easy in Osage, but I do prefer to have you as a friend than an enemy.
And you're going to love Jenningsburg.
Fucking hate that name. He kind of comes around and the levity is left up a little bit as you guys kind of come around, and he kind of like grabs 2 or 3 carbon fiber bolts that have laid into it and goes, here,
Oh, magnificent.
stick a couple for me. As this private conversation is finishing, you three can kind of decide how you want to spend time in the atrium, whether you want to do what Chato has said or otherwise. I will remind you that you're all back up to your competence points levels again, and your group is sitting at 35 survival points and 18 risk. That being said, the bounty changes your risk quite a bit. Now that there is a bounty...
For Chato or all of us?
All of us.
Actually, I should probably specify 5, 9, 12, 18.
Chato and friends.
Chato et al.
The letter wasn't incredibly specific, but it did lay out that it was Chato that they were going for. You know? That
20,
Chato
19 risk,
and his
yo.
group of outsiders.
20 risk, 5 each. That's hardcore. Let's get it.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
There is a target like the size of the Statue of Liberty on your head. I'm going to take 2 steps ahead of these two, and kind of like when we walk out into the bazaar, and I'm going to walk by a couple stands and notice what's up there, and I'm going to come upon a stand that is different than the rest, and it has kind of like wooden whittled figures and old cheap Happy Meal toys that have been...
Ah, I see where you're getting at. Yes. I remember you saying earlier you were even looking for teeth.
Yes,
right?
I didn't think we had enough
Dentures.
time to do that here because the time window is only a brief.
Right.
During the conversation, you wouldn't have enough time.
So you're splintering off from the group. Why?
Just because I'm kind of disgusted at what I saw with the sheet.
With the sheet. So you're walking it off a
I'm
little
walking
bit.
in front of them. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say I'm walking away from them, but I'm definitely, they could tell that I'm steaming and cooling off.
Well,
a
as
little
you're
bit.
walking it off with these two behind, yes, you do see that every single one of the stalls is different, and you kind of are impressed at some of the wide variety of just what people have scavenged in this place, and it's part of this open atrium market. And as you're kind of heading towards the main building to walk up the stairs to where presumably the numbered offices that have been converted into apartments or dormitories are, you're walking by ones that have religious effigies. There's specifically a pot and barrel vendor like that have taken either just containers. So you could say it's a container store, And then you are seeing a couple of other places, but there is one that has an old man who seems to have small spectacles laid out on the bottom of his nose, and he seems to just be whittling away at carved figurines. And you can see some simple clockwork toys, old Happy Meals. What else do you see?
I see old Happy Meal toys. I see dolls with only one eye.
Well, I would actually say they probably even have two eyes, but they're different colors.
Different color eyes
Yes.
being sewn
No one's going to
together.
buy a broken doll or barter for a broken
Some
doll.
toys are ready to be given out. Some toys have just been re-scavenged and have just made it into kind of a pile. So my eyes look to this thing and they kind of go wide, and he starts shaking in spot because it's the same dinosaur toy that he had given to the child in New Haven. And his mind is kind of like, how is this here? How did this get here? This isn't supposed to be here. It hasn't been enough time. It's only been a few days. Are they dead? Is everyone dead? Who's alive anymore? And he starts thinking about his son, and he starts thinking about Danny, and his fists start clenching, and he's just kind of sitting there shaking, looking at the toy.
I notice and I run up to him. Kent? Look at me. What's going on?
The shop vendor who's been sitting and whittling away at the toy is now seeing kind of this commotion come up, and he looks over his spectacles and comes and goes. He hasn't said anything yet, but he's waiting, and he has that nervous edge about him, like, where are the guards? Oh, there's no guards. Where are the guards? Oh, there's no guards.
Where did you get that?
Which one are you?
Where did you get that one? The dinosaur.
Lower your voice.
He kind of puts his hands on it and holds it up like this one. Are you interested in it?
Kent's eyes kind of flash for a second, then he realizes as his heart's racing that it's identical to the other one.
I found it south of the city in one of the houses. One of my associates brought it back.
But it's not.
Is it yours?
It is now. I'm gonna roll intimidate.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for telling me.
Absolutely. I have 2 degrees of success.
2 degrees of success. He almost lets you put your hand onto it as he turns around, and you can see he holds onto it as you hold onto it and hasn't let go of it yet. He's going to tell us, "Sir, can you prove that this is yours?"
And I'm gonna pull out that old wrinkled photograph that I still have. And I'm gonna go. It was his. And I don't have him anymore.
He lets the dinosaur go as you hold on to it. He lets you grab it back and goes, "I'm sorry for your loss."
Kent's gonna look in his pocket, put it away, look at Jenny with kind of, don't ask, and I don't want to talk about it eyes. He's gonna dig in his other pocket. His hands are shaking, and he kind of opens up his pack of cigarettes, and he takes 3 and he throws them onto the table for the shopkeeper.
Okay. And he kind of grabs them and puts them into another empty carton that is also half filled with cigarettes and puts it down and goes, "Is there anything else you want?"
And I'm going to look over at Jenny now and I'm going to say, there's a lot of children who don't have parents anymore here. I see them. And you know something you don't hear in this town is laughter anymore. When we got here for all Kamon's shit, all the terrible stuff we saw, there was pockets of happiness. And if we want to turn this place around, we got to bring those pockets back. I need more toys.
Well, for 3 cigarettes, sir, I would say that you might have 6 or 7 of your choice, whichever you'd like.
I reach into my satchel because I still have that spiced rum.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah.
I pull it out and I say, "What'll this get us?"
Oh my. Put that away, put that back down. Put that back in your basket.
Okay.
Yes. Come around. And you watch as he opens the bin as it lifts up a little bit. Wraith, what are you doing at this point? You've kind of watched this kind of happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think, really just sort of stunned at how a lot of my own experience has been kind of parallel to Kent's. And so I think he's probably actually kind of withdrawn.
Okay.
A certain amount.
Yeah, he's just kind of sitting and waiting and watching.
Yeah.
Seeing if there's anything. You've been looking around to see if anyone has noticed, and there are people who are looking at you. They see you talking to him, but you don't think anyone spotted the spiced rum that she pulled out.
Yeah.
So, and as you come around the side, you talk to the old man and goes, "Where did you get that?"
It doesn't matter. Look,
No, of course it doesn't matter.
just all these toys.
Yes, all of them.
Please.
Take
Just-
all of them.
No, I want you for this. And Ken, if you wouldn't mind, both of you can go and give these toys to the children here.
He looks at it, checks it, he opens the top, sniffs it just to make sure that it's still what it is. He even dabs a little bit onto his wrist and licks it.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. Yes. Okay.
Every single one.
Absolutely. Now, for this, you can keep the stall if you want. You watch as he takes the thing and then wraps it in a bag and stuffs it underneath the bar somewhere and goes, he starts pulling out bags and starts putting the toys inside of it. And then he takes a second and he starts slowly doing it in a much more discreet manner as he's like, "What are you still doing here? Just get out of here."
I quickly move, I grab Wraith, and it's time to go see Doc.
Let's find the doc.
You go upstairs to go to Doc's apartment.
Right.
And Doc's apartment is locked. You notice that it's one of the private offices that was part of this IRS building, one of the executive suites.
I pick the lock.
I stand guard and
wanna
make
knock
sure
first?
if there's anybody within eye line of her, that
Right.
I'm interposed between so they can't see her picking the
Okay.
lock.
Knocking is not this world, Ken.
I mean, we could knock if you want.
He's
I-
like, why
I don't think
I'm
he's
waiting for us to
home.
walk in the room. He's like, why didn't you just knock? I'm like,
Yeah, go away, I'm waiting. Yeah.
I just want to pick the lock.
all
All right,
right,
go for it.
Okay. Okay, that's 1 degree of failure.
1 degree of failure. It's taking a lot longer than you thought and hoped it would, as you're kind of clicking and moving the pins, and it's starting to get a little nervous as you are clearly in an open hallway, and there are people who are, occasionally coming. And as they kind of look down, you are clearly hunched over on the tumblers.
I'm going to stand in front of Wraith and kind of pretend to adjust his shoulders a little bit so we can block a little bit of the sight and kind of just rustle with his grieving Italian widow cloak.
Right. If you want to keep doing this with 1 failure, I'm going to at least make a few more checks just to see how it's going, unless you just want to stop. Otherwise, I'm going to roll probably at least 2 more notice, because it's probably going to take you about half an hour to get this thing open.
Oof.
Well,
Maybe we should just kick it down.
Well, we could try knocking
Okay, let's knock.
if he's home.
I knock. I get impatient and I knock.
nothing.
Can I just take a few steps back and just kick it right where that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Get it, Jenny.
Oh,
Does that,
or
would
that,
that,
yeah.
be,
Good
would
check.
that be under like
That
brawl?
would be a
or-
brawl.
Okay.
Yeah, you're brawling this door.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I have all the successes.
Awesome.
Five, yeah.
She drop kicks the door.
Yeah. So you just basically put your foot right through, right on the lock.
Yeah.
Me
And
and
it's
Rafe look at each other like,
as you kind of see wood splinter out as the simple lock, not even a deadbolt, but just the simple lock on it just like slams, and the door just as it ricochets against the back of the wall, and you actually hear it slam against something that's right behind it as you kick the door open.
He's not going to get his security deposit back now.
I mean, is there anything else I can get with my? I mean, that was 5 degrees of success.
5 degrees of success,
Is there
no.
anything else I can get?
no one heard us do it. No one saw
Yeah,
us.
no one heard, no one saw.
No one saw, for sure. And then in this circumstance, when kicking the door down, I'm trying to find a way to story validate the fact that no one heard
I have
it.
a coughing fit to cover it.
Yes. Oh, God. Yes.
I think I'm
Pork.
choking.
I know. Need to get you some water. Water. We need water.
Yeah.
It's still possible to close the door.
The door flops open,
Terrible.
it bangs against the side of the back of the wall, or maybe against something that's just pressed up against the back of the door as it comes. But then it also slowly just resettles, and you're able to push the door open with a satisfying as you step over the threshold into a dirty and modded carpet. As you kind of press your feet down onto 10 years of grime and filth. The windows have been blocked by thick blankets that have been turned into curtains. And you see a small desk that's lined up against a twin cot. Honestly, the first thing you notice as you walk into this place is posters covering every inch of the walls, and shelving, lots of shelving made up of various scavenge. Who's going in first, Jenny?
Yeah.
As you walk up to go and see this desk, which has been essentially illuminated because it's the lightest wood that's in the area, you can see that there is several notebooks laid out with writing on top of it, in addition to just a pile of just scattered newspapers. You start to see a pattern. Every one is a movie poster, and they're in various stages of disrepair. Some look extremely well taken care of, and some look like that they've been folded and have barely survived making it to this place. And it reminds you a lot of like an old dormitory, just repurposed.
All right, I have my dagger out, and I'm using the tip of it to just kind of poke and sort of delicately search around.
You flip open a binder of what would normally hold like CDs, DVDs even, and you kind of flip through them and you see that the art's laid out on top of it, and you actually are finding like there is even some that still have DVDs inside of them.
Okay. Looks like Doc is a movie buff.
I'm going to close the door and stand guard almost next to it in the hallway still.
Just peering out
Just
through the
peering
hall.
out, just kind of keeping watch, making sure that no one's coming while these two are inside.
Is any of this useful to us? We needed the man himself, right?
We needed his notes,
Oh,
his
okay.
research. Now, I mean, he may have that on him, and Jenny, she just starts searching through these
Yeah.
notes, looking for anything.
There's a lot of writing on there, but some of them, it's not so much formula as it is train of thought writing, almost like a journal entry. But it doesn't have necessarily like I did this today and I did this today, I did this today. It's kind of like I remember this part. This was one of my favorite parts, and he kind of seems to be recalling scenes from movies that he's just writing kind of over and over again. Occasionally you'll see like there's a side note or a footnote that'll have some kind of formulaic equation onto it, but none of the like step-by-step chemistry process that you're looking for.
Perhaps he has some form of code. Maybe these movies and their titles are some sort of encoded information. We can't bring all of this with us.
That would be insane if that's what he did.
I'm going to peek my head into the door and be like, check behind the posters. Peek my head back out.
So I go up to this poster. I don't recognize the title. I've never seen this, but it looks like it's from the 80s, some action flick, and I pull out the tacks on either side, and
You kind of lift it up,
and I lift it up.
and it's blank behind it. No hidden compartments.
Is there a Shawshank Redemption poster? If there is, I'm checking behind it.
There is, and there is not.
Oh, that would be too meta.
Can I roll like a search to, I don't know, just find anything that
Yeah,
can
if you
help
would
us
like to just-
find out where he is? Or
If you'd just like to
some
be able to
direction?
say that I'd like to look around for any evidence of where this man may have gone,
Yeah, that's what.
then we'll go ahead and make a search check. And Wraith, if you want to engage in this too, I'll let you both do it.
0 degrees of failure.
0 degrees of failure.
I have 1 degree of failure.
1 degree of failure. Okay. So you are not as kind to some of these posters as Jenny has been delicately with, and whether it was your intent or not, you tend to make a little more mess than what Jenny would in trying to uncover and look around for this type of stuff. There is no sign of this man or person, because who knows, Doc could be a woman. There's no sign of where this person left. All you can tell is that they're not here, and the notes that you're looking through don't seem to be important enough to where they would have just left it out on the middle of the table. The only thing that really tips you off at all is that you don't really see like a backpack or any kind of, going out kit that you would expect most people who live in this world would have. Their bug out bag.
So he's gone.
He's already bugged out.
Like, gone. Like he's not coming back.
Well,
Maybe.
you don't know that. I mean, he definitely left his place furnished.
And he left some of his movies, which he seems to care about.
I just hate that this is a dead end. It feels like a dead end.
Well, the only way to make it worse would be to dwell on it, if it is meaningless.
Just because he's here doesn't mean he's not somewhere. Just regroup and go get Chato.
Jenny exits the apartment.
As you guys walk down to the atrium and meet up with Chato.
I'm gonna look for a dentist or some sort of like doctor, possibly. As we walk back, I'm gonna graze through the stalls again and see if anyone has dentures or
Do you want to
metal.
ask around or you just want to look for it?
I want to ask around. We'll ask
Okay.
a couple people.
All right. As you are walking around, there's a few people who are like, oh, no, yeah. There's a gentleman who is both barber, shaver, and dentist.
Well,
I think he could do something for you. The best dentist.
I don't need to shave.
The really good stuff is over in Heisenberg, but makes sense because they shipped them all out to where the clean water is. But, I think old Mackle's still around.
Old Mackle.
Old Mackle. Mackle's still inside of the villa, and I know he still sets up shop and does work for people who need their face taken care of.
What's the trade looking like for Mackle's services
I'll have
nowadays?
to talk to Mackle about that.
I'm gonna look at her and be like,
Go take care of that. Go take care of that.
All right. Is anyone going with him?
Wraith goes because he likes to watch like people in pain. He has morbid curiosity.
You don't know me.
I was just thinking like he would go because he'd be like, I want to watch him suffer.
Quite the opposite. I'll go with you for moral support.
Good.
All right. So
And I go meet up with Chato.
I would actually like to try and make our way to the roof.
to the roof.
I want to be able to survey the nearby buildings, and I also want to check for snipers on roofs.
Okay. There is a community patio where people go out to eat, and occasionally that's actually where a lot of the food vendors are.
Right.
So is up on the area leading out to the patio. You go out there and you kind of see the kind of open field area around you, and this patio actually does give you an excellent view of most of the gardens that are laid out in the Osage Villa. And from here you can see the governor's manor, which where the priests are housed. And a lot of this kind of map, you can even see Summerfield a couple blocks down in the giant housing building that is keeping most of the citizens of Summerfield.
Are there any particularly tall buildings between us and Summerfield?
The main housing building, which is called the Summerfield Plaza, it's been renamed to the Hand of Kamon. So,
Expressly what I'm looking for, especially with my marksman friend here and her scoped rifle, is places between us and Summerfield that would be excellent for ambushes, because we're going to try and steer clear of those places.
Sure.
That it's like ominous looming building, squeeze kill box.
Well, since that will be good information to have right before you depart, let's do this real quick, and then I'll give you that information as you guys decide to leave. So, Ken, you go inside and you see a swirly barber pole that doesn't turn. It's just there and just static. And you just see Mackle's Barber Shop. It is essentially like a shanty. It doesn't even have a roof over it. It just has kind of long partitioning structures in between it. You can actually see that may have been old cubicle walls that have been reinforced over the years, that have been laid out on one of the sides of this office walls. And you see there's a man in there who has the window open and is looking out on the villa, and he seems to be reading a book.
I'm gonna walk in and I'm gonna scan the room, and I'm gonna see a few tattered jars, glass jars, and I'm gonna kind of look closer and I'm gonna realize that there's human teeth in some of these jars.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna look and see that there's like wooden stakes, tiny little wooden stakes shaped kind of like teeth, little chips almost. And then I'm going to see other varied retainers and orthodontic
And it's
appendages.
mostly relegated to one kind of medicine cabinet
Right.
that he's put down, because below that is definitely, like, you can see there's bars of soap, that are laid out. You can see that there's a mortar and a pestle for stuff, and you can see various sharpening effects, like,
I'm gonna knock on the door. Mackle?
Yeah, I'm coming. Oh, customers. You seem to be a new face. I know every beard in this town, and I've never seen your beard before.
Well, I didn't come here for a shave, Mackle.
That's a shame.
Heard
All
you're
right.
in the teeth business.
Kind of looks to his medicine cabinet, looks back to you, and kind of looks to Wraith. Yeah, I do dentistry from time to time. Could help you with some of those as well, too. How do your teeth look, by the way?
They're perfect.
They're perfect. What are you brushing with?
The blood of his enemies.
My God, I haven't seen teeth that good. Where are you getting toothpaste at?
I drank a lot of milk as a child. I grew up on a farm.
All right, so Milk Boy doesn't need any help.
Milk Boy doesn't need any help.
Looks like you got... Oh, son.
I'm missing a lot of the bottom of the row here.
Looks like you got on the wrong end of a fight.
I'm lucky to be here. Didn't break the skin. I still got some teeth left on the bottom, so...
Well, we're gonna have to yank those out.
Shit. All right.
Well, why don't you sit down real quick? I'll take a peek. He sets you down on this barber chair, which is more like a repurposed office chair that he leans you back on, but it's got a headrest on it. As he kind of leans you back, and actually notice that he actually takes the time to, like, pour some water into a dish and, like, wash his hands for a second.
I'm gonna look over at Wraith as he washes his hands, like,
Seems legit.
washing his hands.
As he kind of like pulls your lip back, and starts staring at, oh, gee, these things just came chipped right off, didn't they?
Yeah, I know.
God. He just pinches them, and oh my God, does that hurt? Because the nerve's exposed. As he kind of tips them a little bit and tries to wiggle them as he tries to see how loose they are. Some of these are still set in pretty good, but at least one or two of them looks like they'll come out without too much problem.
You should just work. Don't give him a play-by-play.
All right. He stops and puts them down and goes, all right, so what are we looking at for trade?
I'm gonna roll barter and offer him the prospect. I'm gonna say, well, I'll tell you what, I got somewhere really important to go, but I can't go there without any teeth. It looks like a man who could really use some valuable water. After this, we're headed to Heisenberg Bluffs, and I've got a gallon right here I can trade for you.
Usually I do dentist work for about 3 or 4 jugs. You have any on you? Any chips? And you can see what he's referring to, and you're starting to put 2 and 2 together that, what he's referring to are these little tin coins that you've seen that have been exchanged around the open atrium.
Let me see.
And upon getting a closer look at one of them, which he's holding up, you can see that there's been a stamped piece onto it where it just literally has a gallon jug along the side of it. And on the flip, it says Heisenberg on the back.
And I don't have any of these coins on me, unfortunately. Wraith, You got anything lurking around?
Do you like paracord?
Paracord, huh?
I got some climbing gear, too.
I could maybe get something for climbing gear and paracord. Where are you from, by the way? Like I said, I don't recognize your face around here.
We're from right here. Maybe just, we were from River Run originally.
River Run.
And then with the...
Just outside.
Just outside of town.
We were too scared to come into
Yeah.
the city before Kamon was deposed by Chato. Have you heard this? Chato is back.
I have heard.
Is it true that he's the prophet, that he's the hero?
Oh, Chato. I don't know. He was exiled years ago. I only came into the city about a year and a half ago.
And me and Wraith are kind of nodding to each other like, is he buying this shit? You know?
Yeah.
So right now at this point, you're trying to persuade him that you're locals
Okay.
by talking about some local gossip.
Okay.
This seems like a pretty good time for a persuasion.
Persuasion check.
Both of us are just...
Yeah, you're both flapping your gums, so do it.
Well...
Literally flapping his gums as his lips being pulled down.
Booyaka shots!
Well, I have 0 degrees of success or failure, so I'm just going to be like,
Okay.
I have 2 degrees of success.
All right.
I rolled
Yeah.
a 2.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
just really bad at diplomacy.
I have really high persuade, too, and I just rolled a huge roll. Like,
So, all right, I'll tell you what. You give me a gallon now, and then you come bring back a few more, but I'm going to take this gallon as a deposit, and then your coat as collateral.
no coat,
No coat? How about your boots?
no boots.
They have sentimental value for him.
Your belt?
I'll give you the bill.
All right. 1 gallon jug, your belt, as collateral. You bring 2 jugs back, I'll give you back the belt.
All right. So, can I send Wraith to go get a gallon while I'm laying in the chair?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. The gallon's somewhere else in the building.
It's in where Kamon's stash was, in the...
That's not this building.
Oh, it's
That's
not
not
this
this
building.
building.
That's
That's
right.
the governor's villa.
Well, we can find one here in Osage. I'm sure we could.
In the villa? Oh, that's
sure
up to
you will.
Wraith now. So,
All right.
It's lucky we didn't have something to do today, Kent.
so you watch as he starts getting the plier and he starts working onto your teeth. And he starts yanking, just the pain just yanks each one of them out and pulls onto each one. Kent, I want you to make a spot listen check.
Spot listen check.
Yes.
Oh, God. That is 5 degrees of failure.
5 degrees of failure. Okay. You've run off to go find some jugs in which to cash things in. And as your teeth are being pulled, you're feeling this intense pain. Each one of your teeth are just being yanked out over and over again. And you are unaware of a sharp metal blade that's pressed around the side of your neck. As suddenly you feel a dark red gush as your throat begins to fill up with blood. And you can feel wetness coming down as you're looking on this man, Mackle, who is checking and has pulled the curtain closed to show that no one is outside. And you're dead. You feel it well up inside of you, and blackness comes across your face.
The beard didn't help cut the...
Yeah, as it comes down, you got the worst shave of your life.
Yeah. No, Mackle.
As you have been cashed in for a bounty of more than what you could pay.
Farewell. Dead. Well, when Kent's in there, he closes his eyes, and the pain comes, but it's nothing he's not used to, because he's dealt with a lot of pain in his life.
This is important, you're right, because you do have a chance to yell out. You do at least have one chance to yell out before the blackness takes you, and he will try to cover your mouth for it, but it's the blood and the fact that your throat has
I'm
been
gonna
slit.
roll. I have high survivability, so I'm gonna hope for like 5 extra seconds to yell, Wraith!
Yeah,
And
let's
it's
roll
gonna
it.
sound horrible because it's gonna be as my throat's getting cut, like, Wraith!
Yeah, let's do it. Let's roll it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, spend them.
No.
I rolled 99. That's so I'm gonna spend 2 competence points that I had left, and
Spot listen. If you can get at least 3 degrees of success over his 3 degrees of failure,
I don't have
it's
it.
just dead. So, as the blade sinks in, Kent doesn't feel the blade, but he closes his eyes and he can see his wife and son again. And he can see that dinosaur. And at least he knows that he stuck true to his morals and was a father till the end.
I have a raven for you. And I have a hug for you. Why'd you have to find one of the Kamon followers inside of there?
I know.
And why did Wraith have to leave? I'm so sorry.
Well,
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave our table.
I'll get revenge for you.
I hope so.
We're getting all the revenge.
Good luck, guys. Good luck, guys.
Burn this place to the ground.
Good luck, guys. Maybe I'll show up in the barn next season. Well, see you motherfuckers later.
Chato and Jenny, you were sitting out on the balcony at the moment, looking out over the city, trying to gain as much information about Summerfield as you possibly can. And you can see that Summerfield, the housing structure, you can see through your scope, Jenny, that there are people. It's midday, there's no hiding in the shadows at this point. You see men who are currently moving and actively buzzing around the Summerfield community. You can actually see as small lines of folk are emerging in the training fields, which are about half a mile away. You don't see legions of men, but you do see formations of people who are being put together inside of the Summerfield value. Chato, you notice something that's even closer, really, than the training fields. You see effigies. You see stakes laid down all across Summerfield's line. So the dividing factor, and you see on the map here a little bit, there's some housing here, and there's a lot of breakaway. Just barely a block and a half away from Osage Villa, along the Summerfield borders, you can see stakes laid down with people tied to them, laid up. Some are moving, most are not. And in front of these stakes of people that have been laid out across the border, you can see one is sticking out in particular. A man has been placed and tied and crucified onto a stake, and a knife has been plunged into his chest, and a knife has been plunged into his head. And you see written along the front of his face is the word traitor. You can see this through the scope. You can also see that this whole army is presented right in front of you so that you can see it easily across the villa.
Is that man Paulo?
No, it's not Paulo. He has your skin complexion. And he has the beard similar to you.
How many people are up on this? You said there's merchants and food vendors and things up here, right?
There's only about 1,000 people inside of Osage Villa. That's a big building. So the density, I would say, is mingling. Maybe 5 or 8 people are up there at this any time point. The reason that you can see what you see is because you're looking through Jenny's scope.
I hand her her rifle back. You said there's only like 8 other people up here, you say? I turn and I look at them and I say, brothers and sisters, do you see that? Do you see that there?
No.
Come, all of you, come!
They seem a little rattled and shaken. Some don't listen to you and leave immediately. They don't like hearing the raised voices. Many do come over to you.
You see that? That's battle formations. That is death coming here now, unless we ride out to meet it first. I'm going to go downstairs now and go out, but rally yourselves, rally anyone who wishes to fight for their freedom and their life and their survival, because if I fail, you fall next. Go.
You see these people are shaken as they look through them, and they're assessing the fact that they've seen horrors before, and they've looked into it, but they've never seen it laid out in front of them in such a bold and dramatic way. And they run off, and you can hear them shouting, bringing, Summerfield is coming! Summerfield is coming, they're bringing war!
We need to find Wraith and Kent, we need to go.
Yeah, immediately, just heading down to, because we're up on a balcony, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, no, we're
You run
looking
down.
for them, yeah.
You find Wraith wandering through the bazaar at the moment as people are starting to shout and run around them as you hear people calling,
Kent's getting his
Summerfield!
teeth fixed.
We don't
I
have
need to
time. We don't have time. They're coming now. We need to get him and go.
All right.
It's in the midst of like the chaos, like I'm yelling like, rise up, come, we're going now, you know,
Okay.
and I'm like, where's Kent? Let's get him, let's go.
The office is on 1 floor up, but it's toward the entrance.
Let's go.
Okay, so are you going to go get him, or are you two?
I mean, together.
Together.
Like, to collect Kent, to go.
Okay,
Right.
so as you go up to the top of the stairs and you go to where you remember Mackle's building is, you come by and you see the curtain has been closed. And as you pull the curtain back, you see that Mackle and Kent are both gone. Spot, listen.
Oh, that's not great. That's 5 degrees of failure, exactly.
I got 4 degrees of success.
4 success.
4 success, 4 success. So you pull the curtain back and you say, they were right here, I just left them.
He was just here.
Jenny Chato, as you are hearing Wraith mumble and speak out, I just left them, they were just right here, moments ago. 15 at most. You're starting to look around and assess these details. The place has been cleared. There's blood on the chair. There's drag marks very clearly laid out along the carpet. It is a dark carpet, which is why it wasn't obvious beforehand, but if you do look closely, blood stains
Wraith.
as it's being dragged around.
This is my fault.
No. Maybe he's alive.
So as you follow the trail and you move forward, you basically are coming across and you go to one of the elevator shafts. It leads right towards it, which has been used as a garbage chute, essentially in this building the entire time. And you can see very clearly it has been thwopped over and dumped down one of the chutes, this blood trail.
Look around. Is anyone looking like anything like around conspicuous?
Jenny, your headlamp, can you look and see?
Yeah. I pull
Jenny.
out my headlamp.
And as you peer down, you can clearly see there's a man who is attempting to try to lift all the way at the bottom of the building. He is attempting to lift and drag up a sheet-ridden body as he is attempting to pull it and lift it up over his shoulder. So you're going to go down?
I point him with the crossbow and I look at you.
All right, I guess we're both going to try to aim and shoot at the same time.
Great. Okay. You've got the drop on him, so
Shoot him.
shoot.
Okay. I've only got 1 degree of success. Graze is 1 damage.
Right.
1 target takes 1 damage.
I have 2 degrees of success, which translates to 5, but I'll let you resolve first on the off chance you not notch him.
Yeah, I just have the 1. Yeah.
Well, I guess let me put this out
It's
here.
2 points of
Two.
damage.
All right, so
Nothing. I really grazed him.
you're again both rolling, letting loose at the same time.
I'm shook by letting my
Shook.
friend down.
Right, so 17.
17.
Yeah.
As you both put your ranged weapons down, you watch as he looses his arrow at the same time. And Chato, you feel the kick of your crossbow as it shoots like a missile all the way down the darkened elevator shaft. And you are grateful that they have cleared the cables out of this thing to prevent stuff being fallen down. So it is essentially a very clean, open tunnel going there. And you watch as the bolt just lights into his shoulders. He screams out, "Ah!" And he looks up, and the natural light that's coming from the open bazaar is kind of spilling out into the middle of it. And you watch as a few other men are stumbling in and kind of catching him as this man drops down to the floor, just screaming in pain. Just, "Ah! Fuck! Don't leave me, no!" And you watch as the other two men literally just take a knife and then just stab him as they grab the body themselves and start pulling.
Now we run downstairs.
We need to cut them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna reload on the way, by the way.
Okay, reload on the way.
Okay.
And you're going down the steps?
Yes.
Okay.
And do they have weapons at this, like guns or anything?
You didn't see anything other than him pulling the knife out and then just...
Right. And they're like...
We're going quickly, but we
Yeah.
are clearing corners
they're
and
Right.
we're on the defensive because
Right.
we know that there are other people hostile to us in this
Right.
building now.
Okay. Yeah, and you do see a few men who occasionally are looking at you, and you're running quickly, shoving people away. There's a mix of like, Summerfield is coming, war is coming, and then you see a couple of men turn around. Some of them seem to pull out weapons, but you are so far gone. You're leaving kind of a trail of chaos behind you. There is screaming, and as you get down to the main floor where the atrium is, you can see that several men are attempting to wrestle with these two gentlemen who are carrying a body. You could see there was a cart with other bodies that were on top of it, and they were going to try to carry him out amongst some of the other dead from the day before. One has this thing over its shoulders. The other ones are attempting to force their way out of the villa. There are a few men who are holding them back. One of them is literally holding the knife as it's coming down upon his head, and you hear the gov man coming out from his treasure. "Order! Order, all of you! Get out! Stop! Let those men out!" You're seeing he doesn't quite understand what's going on. He just wants to get people out of the building. Like, evacuate the building! Evacuate the building!
No, these are thugs from Kamon's hand. They come into your place. They're killing your people.
I want to cut down the guy with the knife who's about to stab somebody else.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I don't say anything. I shoot.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Both of you, roll your attacks.
I'm trying to engage the government.
Government. Nice.
Booyaka. Okay. Yeah, well, I still had this from before, but it's 2 degrees again.
2 degrees again?
Yep.
2 degrees of success, and I'm 6 with the speed
Also,
die.
speed is 6.
Speed 6, okay. So, yes, speed is appropriate now. We are in encounter.
Well, I'm speed 1.
Oh, you're speed 1.
Yeah.
So you start first. How did your persuasion go?
I got 1 degree of success,
Okay.
which for me in persuasion is actually
It's excellent. What's your
about
speed,
as good as it can
Jenny?
get.
I'm 6.
6. Jenny, and then Chato, what's your speed?
Also 6.
6. Okay, Chato. So, tell me the story.
I say to the government, I say, these people came into your place. They were moles in your organization. Because
Moles? What are you talking about, moles?
Kamon's hand is your enemy. They were waiting for their moment to strike, and they have taken it. If you don't fight back now, you will not get another chance to defend yourself.
These men?
Yes, they've killed our friend. They've accepted a bounty from Kamon.
Fuck. Bar those men. Keep the doors inside. Everyone! Go grab whatever you can. You can hear that he's kind of starting to rally around his monsters. This is enough. We've done enough. Fuck Osage. Let's do this. Let's grab your weapons for Jenningsburg. For Jenningsburg! And you hear as he continues to yell out, fuck, I hate that name.
You're going to learn to love it. Ka-chow.
As he, as people are kind of running around. Again, the 95 that I rolled for these people getting their shit together is not panning out. So while, yes, you've absolutely got Govman on your side, and he seems to be coming in here, there's so much going on right now. There's yelling everywhere. It is almost like day zero. This poor metropolis with no guards, and the guards that they did trust, they have been killed. They don't even know who to look to right now. And there are several people who are attempting to call their attention. So that's Wraith. And now Jenny and Chato, you can both resolve your damage at the same time, plus whatever you want to do.
I just run towards that guy who has the knife raised, ready to strike someone else. And is this enough? Is this enough successes for me to come down with my machete and just chop off his hand? I want to come right down onto that hand that's ready to strike.
Okay.
12 is my damage.
12.
It's 12.
So as you are basically have this man raising his hand up, you put this thing right through, and you don't clean the hand off, but you basically sink the blade deep into his hand as his arm just comes down forward with the force of your blow as you dug into its arm really nasty, and you hit against the bone, and he screams "Ah!" as he brings the knife down and misses the shoulder of the guy as it comes down. You now have basically the weight of the machete and his shoulder against you as it just digs down even deeper.
Does he drop the knife?
And he drops the knife.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Absolutely.
I was gonna grab that severed arm and I was just gonna twist it.
He still can. He's not dead. Are there any other active insurgents? Because I was going to shoot that guy, but he seems like he's pretty much in hand.
Yeah.
There is one other insurgent who has Kent's body, presumably Kent's body, laid over his shoulder
Shoot
at the
that guy.
moment.
10, 14, 17 points of damage.
17 is going to wreck him. Please, describe his grisly demise for me.
As he is carrying our friend towards the cart, my crossbow bolt comes and hits him in the back of the neck and nails him to the cart.
Nails him to the cart as he slides down. The bolt keeps him up front as both Kent's body and his arm just go limp as you feel the body thud. And the people who have attempted to basically hold them and push them back at this point just step away as they see the body fall and the bolt come across. Oh, fuck! And they see Chato! And you kind of watch as they all scatter to get out of the way as you step forward and kind of create this path in front of you as people part. I think there's probably one reaction that they're gonna have against Jenny's chop. He's gonna his gun is gone, but he's gonna at least try to shove you off of him as much as he possibly
Let
can.
him try.
Been looking forward to this.
This is actually an opposing check, so if you want to do a grapple or a brawl check.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you want to do a brawl check.
Yeah.
5 degrees of success.
So what's he gonna try and do to me?
He is going to take his arm, which still has your machete inside of it, and attempt to push you away. What would you like to do to him instead?
I grab that arm and I just twist him underneath.
Snaps.
Yeah.
As the last bit of the bone just falls right apart, and his screams as this hand just kind of falls apart in yours, and you feel it give away immediately.
Yeah.
It's up underneath. Now what?
So I just knee him as hard as I can in his gut.
All right, and he will go down. As basically, I'm going to resolve your because he has a wash and you had 5 degrees of success. Theoretically, you could roll another 5 damage against him if you
Yeah,
wanted to.
I just want to mess with him for a little bit.
No, roll
You
it on
broke
principle.
something off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. You took bits of him. You said, there you go. You can have that. You said,
So I'm rolling damage?
Yeah, you said 5, yeah.
Yeah, I said you can.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
It's as much as you want because there's obviously a chance that you could in a fury kill this man as well too.
Well, I'm gonna kill him. I just want to hurt him a lot before
Okay,
I kill him.
fair enough. Damage is rolled. Tell me what's up.
In the passion of the moment, you might not.
Murder him. We know where he came from. F this dude.
Okay, so what is this? So that's 15 and then... okay, so 16, 17, 18.
Oh, yeah, blind rage. Please describe to me this merciless moment that Jenny excites upon this man after you've broken his arm clean off with the machete hit.
So I am in bloodlust at this point, and he crumples to the ground, and I just keep kicking him repeatedly right in the gut.
Yeah.
And he rolls back and is just like, and
Stop, please stop.
And I take the heel of my boot
No.
and I place it on his throat. And I just crunch down as hard as I can, and I hear it just, and blood just.
Yeah, just his windpipe is broken. He can't even get that last gasp of air as he just falls limp to the ground. And people are like,
And I say to them, look, these strangers, they don't even live here and they risk themselves for you. Their friend has died for you. Rise up. Where's your heart? Fight!
okay, yeah. They have found their heart,
The beatings will continue until morale improves.
and they will rise up. You are seeing they are seeing this brutality that Jenny has excited upon this man, and they are at that point where they've looked at everything and the pieces are finally starting to come together. Make a spot listen check.
All of us are just right.
No, just Wraith.
I got exactly what I needed, so 1 success.
One success. And you are looking around while Jenny's kind of in the midst of this, just beating and knocking.
When she was done, we made eye contact. I gave her a nod of approval.
Yeah. You can see that there were several men who, while Chato was attempting to give his speech, who have crept closer to Jenny. And as you looked at her and looked at them, they backed off very quickly.
These 3 are of the hand of Kamon.
I don't shoot, but I do draw down on them.
Okay. And they go, whoa, 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 hey man, no, we're cool. We're cool.
I saw how you looked at her.
What, man? No, we just wanted to get a better look at the body.
You had hate in your eyes.
And you see other people who are behind them, you're like, hey. And you see actually an older woman in her 50s kind of step up. Hey now, who is you to say who's loyal to Kamon and who is not? How are you going to suppose that these three men are any different than who you are coming in and murdering these men right on the side? What gives you the justice to be able to determine that? And she looks to you, Chato.
I sort of look at her for a second, and I take the hammer and I just like drop it loud, like I intend to like crack the tiles in this lobby. I'm like,
it's supposed to be like a thum, but really you just hear a...
Yeah. People of Osage Villa, your enemies walk among you.
They all kind of look at each other.
You have people dead in the lobby now from collaborators of the Hands of Kamon that turned on your own people. Dead bodies, and I point at the one that I stapled to the wagon. Here now of people that came to harm you. So I don't think you should be the one questioning us at this exact moment. I put the burden back on you to prove your loyalty now because there are villains in the streets.
As people are looking at each other and you see a boy, 10, 12 years old. It's the same boy that you saw earlier that Kent had come out, and he steps forward and he kind of looks at you, Chato, and without even saying a word, he just goes and stands right next to you. And you see a few other people start walking away from the door, and they are looking at the boy, looking at you. He's turned his back to Wraith, but he's looking at the body that's right there. And he has just stood resolutely and hasn't said anything. And he watches a few more people step up. And slowly, people are trying to find their way to you. Kind of clears open this space that's around it. And then you watch as a few people just bolt for the door. Just a few guys just literally just dart out through the side, and they are through the door.
Yeah.
More people are now kind of shoved around, and you see a few people are kind of, they're trying to make a decision. They're like, oh, do I stay? Do I go? Do I stay? Do I go?
The 3 that I signaled out, are they still there?
Those are the ones that bolted.
Oh, those are the ones that bolted?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can go.
Yeah, they ran right out.
I'm like, we'll kill them in 25 to 35 minutes. It's fine.
Out from the villa, you hear gunshots. More gunshots. And it seems to be an automatic pistol. And it kind of resonates through other parts of the building as you hear another part of the villa has just erupted in gunfire.
Like gunfire in the villa or outside the villa?
Yes, in the villa, but behind you, not to where this front entrance is, but on the west side of the villa, laid out in other areas. And you can hear as kind of screaming is erupting again. Are you going to stay or are you going to go investigate?
I mean, I'm still just, I'm looking at that body that I know who's there, and I know he's not there anymore.
So you're making a decision if you want to see it or not.
Yeah, and I walk, I approach it, and I uncover it, and I just need to see.
Yeah, I help her.
And I see that it's...
So as you hear a machine pistol fire going off, and you do hear some screams as you come by, you two stoically walk. As people now start running, they're running outside at this point. Some are going to go grab weapons. Some are just running outside. But amongst this mob, you kind of come down and look at the body, and you pull it back to see Kent laid out in front of you. There's blood all down the front of his chin. And you can see that a couple of his items, the shotgun, his hatchet, are rolled up inside of the sheet with him. As you look, he has his eyes wide open as he just seems to be looking up into nothing.
I close his eyes, and I my eyes wander down and I see his pocket and I see that it has something in it. And I reach in and I pull out this toy that he has. And the picture.
The picture too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I keep it with me.
Okay. You pocket the dinosaur and the photograph of a man who you only just started to really get to know.
Yeah.
But now is laid out in front of you.
And I mean, I don't even grab the weapons. I just kind of stand up and walk away from it.
As the milling chaos of people attempt to leave, you can also see that there are a few people who are taking advantage of the chaos to loot a lot of the open barter bins as well too.
I pick up the shotgun and I shoot it towards the ceiling.
And everybody stops.
And I just yell, "Stop!"
People holding on to things in their hands drop. Yeah.
And as I see the kid who was the first one to join him,
Yeah.
I give him Kent's hatchet.
All right. He grabs it and he looks at it. You could tell this kid has hate in his eyes. It's the kind of hate that a 12-year-old shouldn't have.
Is the Govman still there?
Govman's been there the whole time. He can tell that he's actually been putting out weapons for people.
I walk towards the Govman and I hand him the shotgun. And I say, "Rally your people, the time is now." And I look at the others and I say, "If you wish to behave as beasts, if you wish to be no better than all of them, then by all means go. We will not stop you, but there will not be looting and chaos in here when we are needed elsewhere."
Are you going to walk out of the villa and bring...
I'm going to go towards the gunfire. Like I
All
want
right.
to help the people that are, whatever's happening at Osage Villa.
Right. So as you run to the other side of the...
Carefully, clearing corners and
Carefully,
stuff.
right.
Nothing.
As the atrium comes out, you start going into the more closed and confined quarters of this old government building that's been converted. You are wandering around the natural hallways that lead to other parts of the Osage Villa. And you come around and you get to the other side of the building and you see that men have basically pried off some of the makeshift paneling and doors that have been used to prevent the windows. They've been pulled off. And you can see there are several bodies dead lying on the floor as the door has been pulled down, and you see that men have escaped through the door as they have attempted to make their own exit, so to speak. So the other people are just either have left the area or are cowering and hiding in any places they possibly can. They see you as they walk in, and they all run right towards your area, seeing that you have both Govman with the shotgun and you have all the other stuff, and you rally them out.
But no one is actively fighting in here now.
Not anymore. Now that all the men are gone, you watch as a few people go to the dead bodies and are attempting to pull them. They're mourning, they're crying over each one of their fallen friends and their family.
Are you all ready?
Yeah. I draw my machete and I nod to Chato.
But you do notice something north. A storm brewing. As smoke begins to mix with this cumulus cloud above, and this swirling dark passage is laid out in the horizon. And you can't help but think that Judgment Day is coming.